Cool.
Right, so that's the recording started. So if you just want to introduce yourself.
Hi, Barry. My name is Rudy Vidalis. I'm over here in Los Angeles, California, in the United States, and I love cannabis. As soon as it became legal here, I knew that I wanted to be involved in it one way or another. I think it goes back to kind of like when I was in college, and I used to sell weed, and I always just loved, bringing joy to people. And I don't know, I guess, a lot of people who smoke kind of see like what it does and how cool it is, and then it's almost like it's so demonized. But I don't know, I just think it's really cool that that I was able to do that for people. And so as soon as I graduated, I knew I couldn't do it anymore, so I got to work. And after bouncing around a couple different sales jobs, landed in healthcare, and that is ironically kind of what I do for my 9 to 5. I work for a hospital, and I do business development for them, so just bringing business to the hospital. But I knew that I still wanted to get into cannabis as soon as it became legal, so that's kind of what I did. The first piece that I kind of got into was a pre-roll company. It's called Captain Puffs. They're on Instagram too, at Captain Puffed. And what that is it's a hemp pre-roll. So essentially what I helped them do was more of the sales piece. So I reached out to a lot of dispensaries and started making more and more contacts that way. And we started to grow, and then a bunch of new regulations started coming through. So like fast forward a couple of years, and we're still going and working on releasing some new products very soon. So I know might not get over to you guys, but just for the plug. And then after that, I actually wanted to keep going, so I invested in a delivery service. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Los Angeles and the dispensary game, there's certain streets where there's literally a dispensary. There's 5 dispensaries like on one block. So, and then delivery service is even worse. So it was a crazy, environment to jump into. But I felt like with the connections that I made in the beginning, I just parlay it into something else. So what we ended up doing was doing a delivery service that was online, which is kind of one of the first to do it, like a couple years back. And essentially what it was is kind of like Amazon. You place an order. Within 2 days, you get it expedited, whether it was edibles, drinks, all of that. So doing that, I got to meet a lot more vendors and, negotiate more deals and start to see like, okay, this is good, this is bad. And really just kind of dive into the world that is cannabis. I've been in sales my whole life, but to do this, it was, I thought it would be easy. But just like everything else, like that you're not familiar with, there's that learning curve. So after getting past that, we got going for a while, and eventually it got to the point where we had to make the decision whether we wanted to continue because we couldn't get our license, or to operate on the black market. And we decided to close down about 6 months ago. And that's kind of how I landed with NELA Cigars, which stands for North-East Los Angeles Cigars. At NELA Cigars on Instagram. And essentially what it was is, I guess I've kind of tied everything that I've done, in the past, really 10 years, since, selling $10 sacks out of my, college dorm room to like, kind of getting immersed in a little bit of everything. I decided that I wanted to do something that I really enjoyed doing, and that was rolling. My friends and I, we would always compete to see who could roll the tightest blunt, or the best joint, and we'd sometimes like argue over who got to actually do it. So naturally, when I saw a couple Instagram videos, Roll BMC, he's one of the big ones that everyone kind of knows. Just watching like him, you know, maneuver with the cigar and how hard it is to actually do, because, you know, with cigars, it's almost like a bunch of leaves that are tied together in one long piece, whereas when you grind up the cannabis, it's hard, and then you do a 6-inch one, a 7-inch, an 8-inch one. You know, your hands are only so big, so it takes a lot of time and attention to detail. And it was something that kind of started off as, you know, me just messing around, and evolved into, you know, the next thing that I wanted to do. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know, I'm about, you know, I've been rolling the cigars now for about 9 months, and just, you know, kind of started selling them to private dispensaries and to some other people who don't like to be named, and just anyone who kind of reaches out in the area. But that's kind of 10 years in 10 minutes, I guess, you could say. But yeah, that was my intro.
No, I think it's so weird that when you say like business development for a hospital, because we're in Europe and where I live in Scotland, we don't have like a hospital that would sell anything to you or try and develop business. It's all nationalised.
Oh,
Like, we
yeah.
don't even have that, like, that
Yeah,
side
see,
of it. So I don't,
it's crazy too, because out here it's literally like a business. You know, it's you know, there's so many different insurers and so many different middlemen between people actually getting healthcare and, you know, the top of the dollar, like where it starts, like with the government. By the time it gets down to, you know, our patients, it's touched so many different hands. So it's crazy. But yeah, no, I didn't even think about that. I didn't tie those two things together.
no, but even in Scotland, we've got even more nationalising, so we don't pay for like prescriptions or anything like that. So like, painkillers or antibiotics, you can just go to the doctors, give you a little slip, and then you go to the pharmacy and they just give you it. You don't need to pay for it.
That's so cool. And it's just like one centralized like database, right? Well, for everyone's stuff.
Kinda, yeah. You do have the option to pay for stuff as well, but the private stuff isn't really the best, because nationalising's there. Like, people don't really want to pay for it.
Got it.
So even when you do pay for it privately, it's like insanely expensive, like much more expensive than just like what America is here. So we just leave it.
Oh, that's crazy. No, I've always been like intrigued too, because like I went to school for it, and then, you know, grad school and all that fun stuff, and it was always cool because like we had a lot of international students, so it was always cool to hear like how, you know, your job is in other countries, pretty much, especially when it's so different.
It's weird, especially like the thing that you're doing just now. Even in Scotland, and now we can't even do anything like that because it's still against the law here. And recently they've just published an article to say, if you've listened to any of my kind of one-man rants that I've had, it was my other day, it was an article was saying that violence and cannabis are linked together, which is totally untrue, because when I get high, I've never decided to get violent unless it was demolishing a packet of crisps or something, chips, like you call them. But I was like, that makes no sense why violence is linked. I normally fall asleep.
Yeah, I mean, people don't even have the energy to be violent.
Unless you're giggling. I don't really know what's happening.
Exactly.
But yeah, to kind of what you were saying, being in sales positions and things like that, I've been through the same kind of ringer. When you leave college, university, you don't know what to do. You go to take a sales job, and it's normally soul destroying.
Yeah, no, it was crazy too. Like, I graduated college in 2010. So in the U.S., we were still recovering too from our, you know, recession 2 years before that, and it was tough. But I always tell people, like, you know, you have to take a couple on the chin, and, you know, it helps you, you know, just be a stronger person and persevere in everything.
Yeah, I went to college and university to be a personal trainer, so like to work in the gym and things like that. And then just as I was leaving, we decided, obviously Facebook and social media got so much bigger.
Oh yeah.
but it just killed the personal training industry. Just as I left, I was like, oh shit, I need to get
I know,
another job
right?
because I don't have any work to go to. But yeah, seeing the differences, obviously looking at LA with cannabis, how well it's doing. Like I invest quite a lot in American stocks, so seeing
Yeah.
like how well cannabis is doing in America compared to, I think recently there's quite open trade between Uruguay and Canada,
Uh-huh.
America, and then Portugal. So it's going to open those channels, and definitely, I think it's going to get legalized here soon. So at the moment, I'm technically a criminal, but
I know. I think I'll lose faith in humanity if this next president doesn't figure it out for us.
I just don't. If you can grow it, I don't know why it's against the law. If I can plant some seeds, a little bit
I
of
know.
soil, some fertilizer, and it grows, it shouldn't be against the law.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
Obviously, you were saying that you've got into your NELA cigars.
Yes.
When what kind of got you into that? Was it just your love of rolling and creating like a good product? Yeah.
So to be completely honest, like money, um, because I started following a couple of different guys who I know sold them privately, and I'd see them roll up, 3.5 grams of of flour, and then they turn around and sell the cigar for like $100.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, whoa, I was like, wait, like my math is right. If you buy enough weed, that's, less than $10 to make that whole cigar with packaging and everything. And then it's just your time. And then I tried to roll the first one and I was like, whoa, this is not easy. Like, cause a lot of people like with the blunts and like swishers and all that stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
those are really like thick leaves that are really strong. And when you get these tobacco leaves, they're super thin. So like you could be 10 minutes into a roll and then just have a little bit of bad luck and have your pinky slide in the wrong direction and you rip your cigar and you have to start all over. So like it's crazy. Like it's so much like attention to detail and it takes so long. But I think I like it too because it's like it's something that, like I said, I've always enjoyed doing, like rolling. Like especially when you were younger and you couldn't like afford as much weed, you're like, oh yeah, like I want to roll it, I want to roll it, and it just, I don't know, like it evolved into like me wanting to like really try and get this down, and it took about 4 months to start getting some that were actually kind of smokable, and then I just, like with everything else, trial and error. I think I've rolled, in 9 months, close to 1,000 cigars, and it's been an experience. Yeah, it's just something new and something fun and a way for me to kind of escape. I roll two, smoke one. So yeah.
I suppose the best thing is you get to try it out as well when you're doing it, so you can enjoy,
Exactly.
enjoy your work.
Oh yeah, I get to do the research and development. I get to be the guinea pig, the whole nine.
I suppose with cigar wrappers, like obviously rolling normal cigars, you have like that tobacco filler, which is more like a straight kind of leaf. So like when you're
Yes,
rolling like cannabis in it, it's going to be a lot harder to keep it from tearing and keep it from like just to keep it like a solid something that you
exactly.
can smoke instead of from it just falling apart the minute you light it.
Yeah, because you constantly have to balance this, like roll it as tight as possible, but not too tight. And then at that same time, manage not to rip a really thin leaf as you're doing it. So it's like really important that like I spend like a bunch of time like literally destemming every single nug before I grind it up, because one little stem can mess up like a whole cigar.
Mhm.
And like I've had so many instances where I'm like mid roll and I see it in there and I'm like, oh, I have it perfect. Like all I have to do is just tuck and finish. But I see a stem, like should I take it out? Should I start all over? And I'll just be like, okay, I'm gonna continue. And that little stem that I looked at, that I made eye contact with, ends up being the one that like rips through later. And it's just like, oh, so It's a lot. It's a lot more prep work than actually rolling work. So like from beginning to end, a cigar can take like a week and a half to 2 weeks. Um, First, what you do is obviously you grind up all your flour, but in order for it to be considered a cigar, it needs to have a filler, which would be your flour. Then it needs to have a binder, which is the first leaf that goes around it. Usually it's a little bit thicker, and where some of like the kind of bitterness comes from in each like draw. And then after that, you let that sit for a day or two in a humidor, and then you do a wrap on top of that, which is a really really thin leaf that goes on top of it. So all in all, like actual rolling, it's maybe 20 minutes each cigar, but the whole process, takes time because you have to like let it sit and like slowly tighten, and it does its own thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't have the patience to do something like that because I get just to try and concentrate on one thing. I really struggle with it.
Yeah.
I I normally have like 2 or 3 things going on at once, so to sit down and do one thing, I don't think I'd be able to
It's
concentrate on it.
it's crazy, and I'm the exact same way, and it's weird because it's almost like because I've experienced so much failure doing this, like it's I know I have to like stop and slow down. So that's why I said like it's almost kind of like a meditation type thing, where I kind of slow down and
Yeah,
just like focus on one thing, and it's kind of like my vice to like, you know, I don't know, like that's my therapy. That's me. That's my me time, pretty much. Like my wife knows, like when I'm in there, like, not to like barge in or anything, because like I'm usually like in deep concentration while I'm doing it, and I have all these lights set up so that I can like see everything. And yeah, no, it's but I'm the exact same way. Like I feel like I'm always like on the go, doing 3 or 4 different things. Looking at stock or looking at something like checking emails or yeah, it's crazy.
and obviously for the past 3 months or so, we've kind of been going through the COVID experience. How have you felt?
Yeah.
Have you been stuck inside, or you been able to go out? How's it been?
Yeah, that actually was, one of those things that like there was nothing you could really do about it. My wife and I are homebodies. Like we like to stay home. Like we partied a lot when we were younger, and we're like over it now. So it was a blessing for us. Like we literally just it was the best time ever for us. Like we loved the time off. We loved staying home, and that was actually the time that I got to spend. I got to spend a lot of that time, rolling the cigars, and that's where I felt like I made a lot of big breakthroughs, if you will, in the process of rolling. Was during that time because there was so much trial and error that I was able to do because I had so much time on my hand.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have either used it productively to learn skills or set up a business, read a book, do something really good, get fit, or people have just used it to watch Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. To watch every single thing they haven't seen.
For me, I like to, because I work from home most of the time.
Okay,
Nothing's really changed. The most that's changed is like my kids have been here, so it's
got
not
it.
really like my whole day is just the exact same as it has been. So when people are, so we're still kind of in Glasgow, we're still kind of on lockdown, so shops are still closed and things like
Yeah.
that. But like for me, nothing changed. People are complaining about working from home.
Oh,
I'm always here.
yeah. So for you, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't really too much of a change.
No, nothing's changed. The most thing that's changed is with some of my other businesses is I've had to close some down because clients have just went out of business, so we don't have the money in it. But
That's terrible.
but I'm one of those people that look forward into the future. So I was like, in case there's like another recession, like you were saying back in 2010,
Yeah.
2007, 2010ish, when like the recovery was happening.
Uh huh.
I was like, I need to put money aside because
Yeah.
I don't want to get caught like that.
It was crazy. Yeah.
So I've kind of been prepared. So the past 3 months has just been me overworking, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And people just complaining that, so in Scotland and kind of the UK, people that work in a shop have been getting paid by the government to stay at home. which is a pain because I don't get paid. I still need to work because I'm self-employed.
Got it. No, yeah, and that's one of the only things that's not that cool like about having your own business now is that like, and it's such like a crazy thing that like like nobody was expecting this. Like, not too many people alive, if any, like have experienced this in so long. So it's not like anyone knew what to expect, and to just have to stay home and not work or whatever it is. I know it took its toll on a lot of people too.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's going to be a spike in like a divorce rate soon. So
Yeah, right.
people
And
have to listen to their life
and
altogether.
babies and new babies too.
Yeah,
Watch, we're gonna have some quarantine babies,
next year that's going to be a huge, a huge thing.
right?
Yeah, so obviously in LA, like cannabis is legal. You can just go buy it and things like that as well. Is there still any like is there like a stigma against it still, or is it?
Um, Not as much anymore. I feel like as time goes on, more people are open to it. Like, it was deemed an essential business, during the pandemic, and you know 3 years ago, you'd get arrested or a misdemeanor for smoking a joint on the sidewalk. So it's like it's crazy. It's come a long way. And I think it's crazy too how there's so many people that are still in jail for selling weed, like especially small amounts, not like trafficking a lot of weed. Like, it's crazy that people are still in jail for it too.
Yeah, definitely. When I was younger, I got caught with a like a mini kind of baseball joint, and it was like it would even get you high if you smoked it, and I
Yeah.
got £150 fine.
Oh my God.
And it was like, oh, if we catch you again, you'll go to court, and it's a 2-year jail sentence. I was like,
And
this is
how's the
such
stigma
a
now?
in kind of Glasgow and stuff. People don't really bother with it, so it's like if you're smoking it outside, as long as you're not near like a park where kids are,
Yeah.
nobody really cares. You can go do what you want.
Yeah.
That's literally the belief in Scotland for anything. But obviously, we're in business, so a lot of people told me when I was starting the high grind, which is for entrepreneurs that enjoy cannabis culture.
Yeah.
They were like, you shouldn't do it because you're going to lose clients. But I've actually gained more clients. People have been coming
Yeah.
to me saying, "Oh, it's cool that you're speaking out about something." I'm believing it. I smoke weed nearly every week,
Yeah.
depending what my kind of
That's
schedule is. And
that's awesome.
but in like I said, in Scotland, people don't really care.
That's awesome. I
Scotland's
know,
very
like,
a
I feel
relaxed
like there's,
country, so
yeah, I feel like there's so many people in LA that, like, you're always gonna piss someone off. Um, but I think like you said, like we're slowly getting to that point where people are just like, you know what, it's not that bad. Like, it's not bad at all, actually.
yeah. Well, in the LA, I think it's like 12 million people. In the whole of Scotland, there's only 5 million, so
That's
we,
crazy. That's
we,
right on.
we have a lot less people than you to annoy.
That, that's crazy.
But yeah, I think the way legalisation is going to work in UK is probably going to be the same way it works in LA. We've seen the
Yeah.
benefits from taxation, the stock market, the,
Yep.
the amount of money it's coming through. Everybody's like, where's the US government getting the stimulus checks from? It's probably from taxation on cannabis.
Yeah, I think for the first quarter of this year, and that's including the pandemic, like the budgeted amount for taxes that they were expecting, like, was exceeded in LA. Like, I forget the numbers, but I just remember seeing that headline and be like, wow, even with all this going on and them being essential. And because when it first got announced, like, people went and like bought stockpiles of weed. Like, there was longer lines, you know, for at dispensaries than there were at grocery stores. Like, it was crazy. And it's crazy. Like, and I think once people start to see all the tax money and what it does, then they're gonna be like, you know what, like, these people don't bother anyone. It's not bad. Like, scientists are now saying it's not bad, so just let them be, and I feel like the whole world would be a better place.
Yeah, I think everybody should at some point just sit down and get extremely high. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you've got ice cream and crisps or chips, you've got chocolate, and you're just sitting there stuffing your
Right.
giggling away. You need to get
And
to that point because it helps you realise what life is really about.
yeah, it does kind of put things in perspective sometimes. It just kind of slows you down and just is like, like makes you appreciate the time that you're in right now.
Especially if you're having like a really bad week.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
just it helps you relax. The other kind of thing that's problematic in the UK is, along with them saying that it causes violence, is that they say that it causes addiction, but they don't take into consideration is those people that would get addicted to cannabis would get addicted to anything else as well, like
Well, it's
alcohol,
sad.
any other drugs. So it's
Yeah, no, exactly. It's crazy.
we don't have like a you have more of a real based democracy. We don't have that. Ours needs
Oh,
to go through a lot of more hoops of like through like a parliament. So for Scotland, our parliament needs to answer to England, and it causes the issues to do things here. So you have like a more straightforward democracy than what we have, which is like
um,
not straightforward, but it's a lot more
yeah.
a simpler process for you guys than what it is for here.
I
So
think, yeah, I think probably the answer would be yes. I'm not sure for sure, but I think it would be yes because I know that it's been as soon as they made it like states medically legal. So where if you had a recommendation, which happened, 10 plus years ago, um, as soon as that kind of happened, I feel like it was always like coming up like on the ballots, but like just getting shot down. And then slowly it started getting some momentum. And it wasn't until like the last 3 years that was on that it got past, like 10% of the votes and then just, got enough to pass when it did. Um, but yeah, it's pretty much the states, but it's still federally illegal here. So,
yeah, that
um,
confuses me about the US as well, because obviously you have federal law, and you have
yeah, that's
state laws, which is
that's our parliament, or like it's like that's like the it's like you can't that was part of the reason that I had to close down the delivery service was because you can't like ship or like fly cannabis. Technically, if you flew from one legal state to another, I don't think you can do that either because you fly and you're like in federal airspace. But like it's weird, like if you walked across the state line, then you're fine. So like there's a bunch of gray, um, but people are now able to like take it through airports, and it's like we're slowly getting better. It's just really weird though.
I think it's weird. It's like why is there so much like different laws and issues just over one little plant? Like
Yeah,
think
exactly.
if I had like dandelions and you were like you can't bring these dandelions to this part of this country, or like if I had roses, it
Yeah.
would make no sense of like why I wouldn't be able to bring like a bunch of roses to New York.
Yeah, no, and it all like it goes back to like when it was like criminalized over here, and it's because the wrong people were losing money, and the people in power were losing money. So they did what they did and got it to be illegal, and it took us a long time to undo that wrong thing. But it's crazy because for so long they would pump all this money into studies that would try and show like how it led to other drugs or how it led to violence, like you said. um, and they couldn't really nothing substantial ever really came out. And now that it's legal, the government's finally throwing money at studies that show how it's beneficial. So now there's these cool like more and more stuff like how certain parts of the cannabis cells like can help towards cancer, and like they're starting to like put the pieces together, and it's like all these good things, and it's like it's crazy because it's like you almost want to just like slap society as a whole and be like, see, we're missing out on this for so long, like, and how maybe how much farther along we'd be if it was legal the whole time.
Because I've never smoked cannabis and wanted to take other drugs. Like
Right?
when they try and link it between like cannabis and then it's like, and then you'll become a heroin and meth user. You're like, how the hell did you link that?
Exactly.
I've never one time smoked cannabis and was like, oh, wonder how heroin is.
Yeah,
Never done that.
exactly.
But I think it's mostly it's like that older generation that grew up with that propaganda, like the well in America's propaganda, the silly videos that they show you.
Exactly.
They're still dealing with being trained to believe that. But the
Yeah,
younger generation is just like, oh, who cares? Everybody should just be able to do what they want.
exactly. And to be completely honest, like I only went back like a certain amount of time on purpose in my intro because I'm like the biggest hypocrite. Like growing up, like I played sports my whole life, you know, did fairly decent in school and never smoked because of all the propaganda. And that was fed to my parents, you know, they got trickled down to me. So I would literally lose friends because of cannabis. And then I got drunk one night freshman year in college and smoked a joint, and it changed my whole perspective on life, you know. And it's you know, like I'm not saying that would happen to everyone or it's for everyone, but like it's crazy. Like I feel like a lot of things have changed for me for the good because of cannabis, and it's almost like, and then the whole point of, so I left for college and me and my parents were on the same page. And I came back from college and we weren't on the same page. So I moved back home for a year before I moved out. And there was that constant, like, I wanted to smoke. I'm at home, you know, like I shouldn't smoke because I should respect the house. And, you know, eventually got to the point where if it timed up right, I'd go smoke in the backyard. But it was like eventually they found out and I just told them straight up, like it's different now, guys. And I just had the talk, like with your parents where it's like, I smoke weed, I get my shit done, and I like to enjoy a joint every once in a while. And it's funny because like, you fast forward to now, and now my mom will have an edible with me every once in a while. My dad will too. And we actually had dinner with my wife, my little brother, his girlfriend, my parents, and I brought edibles, which was like a drink, and we all like poured like a double shot. And we took a drink and we laughed the whole night away, and just had a good time. Like, and it's crazy, like how far, like it's come. And now, with the internet and everything, there's so much information out there that, you know, um, that's pretty much telling us, like that it was all propaganda, and it's not bad or not as bad. Not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, definitely. It's, like again, it goes. It's not for everybody. Those people that will get addicted to it, or those people that don't want to use it, or they get extremely lazy. That's just that type of person. That's
Yeah.
if you go to the gym with that type of person, they're not going to be the best person to do a workout with because they're going to be lazy or they're going to like slack off and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So you don't want to be kind of spending time with those people anyway. But for me personally, when I was younger, I tried it every now and again, but I never really stuck with it until when I broke my neck.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh wow.
I, I went to the doctors, but I'm one of those people. So when I was growing up, my mum took a lot of painkillers because she was really unwell.
Yeah.
She was on like 70 odd tablets a day, just to
Oof.
function like a normal human being.
Yeah.
And because she was taking some tablets, she had to take other ones. So I was like, I don't want any more antibiotics. I don't even take painkillers.
Yeah.
I don't like any of that kind of stuff. And I went to the doctor and I was like, look, I don't want any painkillers. And he was like, it's just going to be sore for about 7 months. He was like, but off the record, you could try cannabis. He's like, I can't tell you where to get it. He's like,
Yeah.
you should try it and it might help. I tried it. I got back to the gym a lot quicker than I was meant to.
That's awesome.
My neck's never gave me a problem. It's 100%. So when I go to the doctor for a checkup, I think a year after when I done it, the doctor was like, it's 100% healed. You're you're fine to go back to the gym, do sports in full, which is because taking that cannabis, being able to relax and let my body just heal itself.
Yeah.
Plus the pain reduction that it gives you is insane.
So you and that, you know, like I've broken a lot of bones, but I've never broken my neck. Like, so it actually helped like you with the pain too, like substantially, or
It helped me, so it reduced the pain by like 80%. When I
got
would
it.
say a painkiller would probably reduce it by 70.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like it was really no pain, and I was able to start moving my neck after about I'd say about 3-4 weeks, like
That's
slightly
awesome.
move it. But
That's awesome.
the doctor says that there was a potential that I would never get full mobility in my neck again. But if it's perfect just now, it's 100% healed.
That's awesome.
I think, but that works for me. Sometimes when I tell people that, people, oh, I took cannabis and I sat in the house all weekend. That it depends what kind you take, but
Yeah. Yeah. That'll happen too sometimes.
yeah, I normally take cannabis if I've got like big meetings and stuff like that to relax
Yeah.
myself. But it's how people use it is anything. Like some people abuse alcohol, some people abuse video games. It's just really how people use it as to help build their life instead of from using it as like a crutch.
Exactly. No, I couldn't agree more. That's awesome though. That's real. Well, I'm glad you're fully healed, and it's crazy too because when we were running the delivery service, a lot of our customers were actually patients that used it for pain, and they were the ones who gave us like the most feedback, like on our website and stuff, because they would actually tell us, you know, like, hey, thank you so much. Like, you know what, I'm going through chemo, and like, you know, the edibles, I don't like to smoke or anything like that. And the edibles are really good, or you know, like the flowers really, like, it just helped them. And um, I always thought, like, I mean, it's such a crazy plant, like how much it does, you know.
I think it's the one thing that I've been speaking about recently is that Elon Musk wants to go to Mars within the next 10 years,
Yeah,
and potentially cannabis won't even be legalized everywhere in the world in 10 years.
I know, right?
There's a plant that we don't even legalise, but we might be in Mars, which makes no sense.
That is crazy to think about. Yeah, but
Like, you could
fair,
just
a
get high and
possibility.
travel to Mars.
Exactly. I know. Big tobacco. Big tobacco does not play around.
I don't understand why. Most tobacco companies they've got the fields there with tobacco in it, which is primed to grow cannabis. They could make even more money than what they're doing since tobacco sales are getting less and less every year.
Exactly. And I think what it was too is that when cannabis was gaining momentum, um, like here in the States, like in the early 40s and stuff, I think that a lot of tobacco companies realized that and threw a lot of money at lobbying to like get laws for it to be like legal. And it sucks too because, you know, a lot of times they would say, you know, that it makes minorities feel like they're the equivalents to whites when they're on it too. So like those are two things that they were pushing was, hey, we're gonna pay you to lobby, and you know, like it's making these minorities think that they're just as good as us. So I and that back then that was enough to get anything done. So it
Reading,
just
reading history like that, you're just like, what the hell was people thinking?
exactly you want to, so yeah.
Especially everything that's going on like today as well.
Hmm.
You're like, it's insane to see that how little has changed in like a long period of time.
Yeah,
Uh,
and no, that's perfectly said. Yeah.
like for me, it doesn't bother me what colour anybody is, where they come
Hmm.
from, if they're LGBT, whatever it is. I don't really care as long as the person's cool to talk to. I don't.
Exactly.
I think it's because I've been taking cannabis too long. I'm just like, I don't really care.
Yeah, and it's just like I'm the exact same way. Like I think I grew up like Catholic, but like I'm not practicing Catholic now. So like I just follow the, be a good person, and good things that happen. Like just be cool to everyone, and don't be a dick to anyone, and really simple. Like do unto others like that. That's like the only thing. And I think times are changing for the good, though.
Yeah, definitely. I don't understand why people are like. So here in Scotland, we have so quite a lot of people in Scotland want to gain independence from the United Kingdom, and
Mm-hmm.
quite a lot of people want to stay in the United Kingdom. So like,
Mm-hmm.
so I believe in independence for my country, so it's free and we can enjoy freedoms like America. Um,
Exactly.
but quite a lot of people in my country don't believe in that, and it's no racist, but like I experience the same thing. So if I say I believe in independence, people will call you stupid and say you're not as good as them. Will actually refuse to speak to you,
Wow,
and it's
that's
the
crazy.
same thing. So like obviously what's going on just now, can't relate because I'm white. I don't have a different skin color. But
Mm-hmm.
like going on right just now, I can kind of relate because of the prejudice that I feel, well, that we experience on a daily basis. So it's it's such a silly time, and I just think people should just
Yeah.
get a little bit high, have a conversation, and just sit down, chill out, relax.
It'd be like the world, when we say the world would be a better place, we literally mean it. Like if if it was just everyone smoked a little bit of weed, they wouldn't be such dicks to each other.
Yeah, right now as well, I'm experiencing people because I'm bald and I've got a beard, so people will think I'm like a nationalist or like a white supremacist, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm literally none of these things. I get that, I get that quite a lot on Twitter just now as well, and people always point out that I'm bald as well. I'm like, that hurts a little bit. I'm losing my hair, calm down. Um, no, but yeah, I totally agree. I think these people just need to relax, sit down, and I think everybody, before you get into a position of power, you have to get high, like take DMT, especially DMT. If you've ever took it, it
you
alters
know,
different cells in your brain.
yeah, I know. I've listened to Joe Rogan talk about it, and I'm always like, oh, like like 99% of me wants to like never do. I'm not good with psychedelics. I've taken shrooms, and I think I was a little drunk when I did it, and I didn't have a good time. So like psychedelics are a hard pass for me. But you hear people talk about it and like how they see like aliens, like stuff like that. But they come out of it like so clear, or some of them do at least. And it's just like, oh my god, that's crazy. Like to think that, I don't know. It's like peyote and all this other crap. Too much psychedelics. No thanks.
Yeah, man. So when I was younger, I ended up. So when my mum passed away, and like my family kind of left, so I ended up homeless for a bit.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm sorry.
so it's fine. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So what I done was I just was like, okay, I need to change my life. What I'm doing here. I started cleaning cars. So I would clean cars for free and leave a little written note on it saying, if you would like to pay, you can find me here. And I would stand at a certain place. So they would give me £1.
That's what's
And
up.
I eventually got,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's just that kind of hustle mentality. But I eventually got to a point when I was able to get a house, so pay like the first month's rent down.
That's
Um,
awesome, man.
so,
True entrepreneur right here, ladies and gentlemen.
well, I set my first business up to do shoe cleaning when I was 11 because um, my mum couldn't afford bills, so to pay for rent and bills, I done that, which is fun.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
Getting to the point I'm on now, I ended up taking DMT when I was at a normal job, like a 9 to 5 boring job that
no
I did at a
way.
pump centre. And one weekend, my friend came up, we took DMT. We got It was an insane trip. Then we got extremely high, and I went in on Monday, quit the job, and I've literally been self-employed since.
That's
Just
crazy. So
it
how
changed.
long did it last? How long was that ride?
It was about the high for DMT was about 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes
Oh,
maybe. So like it's quite a short experience. So it's like the if you're not going to go do ayahuasca, which is like a pure ritual and stuff like that, just if
uh-huh.
it's just DMT, it's like a really short. It's like a flash into it, so you get. See if you were watching a movie, it's 3 hours long, and you fast forwarded through the whole thing.
Oh,
That's what DMT is like. But then if you went and done ayahuasca, you get to sit and enjoy the 3 hour movie. So you do. I went through it in like 20 minutes. Then we got extremely high the rest of the weekend and drunk. And on Monday I went in and just quit. And I was like, no,
wow.
I'm not doing this anymore. This is terrible.
That's aw I mean, so you almost had like a life-changing experience, right? Like
Yeah,
that.
literally a life changing experience. I was like, this is because I've always been self employed when I was younger.
Yeah.
Then I went through a bad part of my kind of life, and then I went back to being back to a normal job. And I was like, fuck
Uh-huh.
this is shit. But then the best story, which I like to tell people, is when my first kid was born, I took a normal job just to supplement income.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, this is terrible. If you've ever worked in a call centre, it's the worst thing you can ever imagine. I was like, I can't do this. And I took too much pre workout one day. So before I was going to the gym after, but I was too tired in the morning. So I took about 4, 5 scoops of pre workout. I went into the place and I was like, look, I can't sit here. And they were like, oh, do you not feel well? I was like, no, I took 5 scoops of pre workout. I need to quit this job. This is terrible. Um, so then I just left. But I would say pre workout's quite similar to, if you take quite a lot of it, it could be similar to DMT.
That's crazy. That's
But
crazy.
yeah, definitely, it was a life changing experience. And if you ever get the chance, obviously, you say it's not, but if you can get into like somebody who knows what they're doing, it's
Yeah, right. I feel like you need like a handler,
yeah, you
almost
do, you
like
definitely do. Because I took a turn and then we took a few hours off, and then my friend took a turn. So like, you need somebody there to help you through it,
that's crazy. Ooh, that's crazy.
just to guide you through the other realm that it opens to.
That's crazy.
That's why I'm like 2020. I'm not even surprised if aliens come because of how fucked up this year is.
That's crazy.
But
So did you have any like visions like that like stay with you or?
yeah, man, it went through like so you, it looks like a kaleidoscope when you look through like those little things as a kid, and it's all these different colours and stuff like that.
Oh,
It's like that, but then like it's if you're like floating through it,
that's crazy.
and it's all around you. So it's if you're inside it, if that makes kind of sense. You need to experience it before, if that makes
Yeah,
sense, because it's like
yeah,
trying to explain it makes no sense because it's nothing in this world can explain it.
exactly. No,
But
I know,
also,
and I imagine too, like like it's every once in a while, like you see one of those cartoons where like it's like stuff's like dripping off or like like folding into itself and stuff like that. It's like, but
I felt
that's
like my
crazy.
trip was kind of like Rick and Morty.
Dang.
But no, it was really good, and it opens up. It helps you become accountable for things that you've done in your past, or things that you might not be too proud of. You can kind of see it and be like, okay, this is where I messed up. Um, this is so like for me when I was homeless, I could see that there was a thing that went into play that was because of me. I ended up being like that. Obviously, there was external factors, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to take accountability for everything that happens in your life, and it helped me see that as well. And it's which made me the person that I am today. So like, I'm
Amen.
accountable for everything that I do, which
Yeah.
is insanely different to where I used to be. When like most people, it's always somebody else's problem, and that's something that I have an issue with. When people complain, they always, oh, this is a problem, instead of from, this is a problem. This is how we like to fix it. What's your ideas? That's what helped me. The DMT helped me realize all that kind of stuff. Which
I- I've heard that too. I think you know what? I think have you seen that new on back to Netflix? Have you seen that there was like a Netflix documentary. It was like something like with psychedelics or something like some drug 101 or I don't know what it was, but it was on a couple of weeks ago and someone was talking about the DMT too and they were saying the exact same thing that like if you have some shit that like you have to get through mentally, it'll come up. Like, and so that they say like they recommend you always do it like when you're like like have like a handler and like someone who's there to guide you through it. But that like stuff that is good, bad, like it all kind of comes up while you're on it. And it's weird because like you just like kind of confirm that, and it's just, I don't know, it's crazy.
It helps you realize like now like the kind of you're like, oh, like the stigma between being like a man if you express emotions, or if you're going bald, or when you mess up in the past, like terrible, like if you've done something quite bad, and you think about it, but then when you're on it, you realise why you done it.
Yeah.
You've done something really good, you realise why you done that as well. So for me, it was like going homeless, the things that I'd done before that. It just made me realise and take accountability for what I was doing, which is quite insane to be in the position I am now. But
yeah. Hey, but I tip my hat to you, brother. That's you got a hell of a story, man.
I would recommend it if you had a handler.
Yeah, no, I feel like it was a sign that like we talked today, and I was like, because I had literally seen that documentary, and like how I told you, like 99.9%, that 1% was because of that Netflix documentary, and now you're starting to sway me in the other way. So I'll definitely, if and when I do, I'll let you know.
If you can afford it, or if you can find somewhere that does ayahuasca to go, it's like a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
Thing. I went to one in Portugal, and it was when I was much younger. It was amazing, and when I was there, I got the benefits of it. I didn't really understand it, but then when I was older and I took the DMT, I understood what that trip was. Sometimes it's like you need to do like 2 or 3 times before you actually understand what's going on as well.
So it like reignited the previous time, and like it almost picked up where you left off.
Yeah, it's kind of like Limitless, if you've ever seen that movie. When
yeah.
You take it and you can see everything clear, puts your life in perspective, where you should be going, what you want to do, what happened in the past, and it seems as if like it's a simulation that we're in, like the Matrix, as if we're in some sort of simulation, and you take this drug that shows you that it's all just a big simulation that you're in just now.
That's crazy.
So,
and that makes sense. Yeah, no, I'm the meter's definitely ticking in the other way now. I'm gonna look into it a little more now.
I don't know how. I know it's still illegal everywhere, but places like Portugal, it's not. I'm sure like in Brazil and some places in the Caribbean, it's not either. You can use it, and there's doctors that do it with you as well.
Yeah.
Just like LSD, which is just like a different version of DMT, pretty much. But so we're coming up for the hour. So is there any kind of roundup that you want to say? Anything you want to say?
No, I want to thank you for this opportunity, man. It was actually really cool to just get on the horn and chat with you, and kind of giving my first experiences doing one of these. So thank you. I'd like to think I made a friend on the other side of the pond, and let's stay in touch and maybe do another one of these down the road.
Yeah, definitely. All the links for your social media and stuff will be in the description below. And I'm going to stop recording, but if you hold on for 2 moments,
yeah,
just shut the thing up after the recording's finished.
Yeah.